Now, you have some of these riffraff neighbors here. They only make $45,000 a year. Oh, sir. They paid off their mortgage. They bought used cars. They don't have any payments. They don't have any debt. You know, poor people. I spit on them. Well, here comes the rainy day for old Peachy Weechy. Peachy is, you know, he's in Congress, but who could ever fire Peachy Weechy, huh? He'll be in Congress. Uh-oh. Peachy Weechy lost his job. Why? Because the common man has lost his job too. Oh boy. Now the way Pete sees it, the richest person on the block is him. You know, the guy with a sports car and a boat and the nicest house is great. But what happens when Peachy Weechy loses his job? And so does this person. Now what to do? Well, it's a good thing I'm a thinker. You know what I'm saying? Because the richest person on the block happens to be, yes, say it with me, this guy. Why, Peter? Go ahead, say it, Peter. They don't have lots of stuff, that's what you're thinking. But gee, Mr. Beck, they don't have a lot of stuff. This guy's rich because he's got a lot of stuff. Yes, yes, Pete. Yes, I know. That's the way you Harvard-educated boys think. But see, here's the problem. He doesn't own any of this crap. No. So the bank comes and takes his house. Yeah, and Pete's outside crying by his sports car, going, oh, my sports car, help me with my sports car. But the bank takes that too. And Petey has no house, no car. Credit card companies breathing down his neck. Income is slashed. Life changes for Peachy Weechy. Oh, I could dream, can't I? Yeah. Meanwhile, the poor person has their house because they didn't owe anything. You see? Now it's the same, Peter, with the federal government. If IRS returns drop, that means people aren't making money, so they can't pay taxes. Well, the government could do what this guy could have done. Just take out more loans to make up for the shortfall. But in the end, house is gone. We could just print more money or borrow more money for China, but in the end, house. See, Pete, that's not more wealth. No, we just held off the inevitable. But then again, I'm not a doctor like the great statesman and... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, boy. Pete's not a doctor either. And oh, I almost forgot. I am Pete. Oh, boy. Look, here's the thing. It doesn't take a doctorate to read history. And it's not hard to see that we're repeating the same mistakes of the past. What are we repeating? Pete, pay attention. The 1930s. This is fascinating when you look at history. The Dow appears to be repeating the same pattern seen during the Great Depression. Here it is. There's the crash of 1929. Where's the financial crisis of today? Do we have it? Uh-oh, kind of looks the same. Now it's starting to come back down again. Oh boy, you see there was a brief recovery period. Very brief recovery period. 1930, July 8th, 1932. What happened? First there was a crash of 1929, and then it crashed again, 1932. The Dow bottomed out, closing at 41.22, 89% drop from its pre-crash high. Got it? Well, let's see what happened here. The Dow Jones in 2008, October, the stock market plummet, 2,400 points in 9 days. So what did we do? Well, Hoover decided spend. Increase federal spending by 50% between 1929 till the end of his term. George W. Bush abandoned the free market system to save the free market. Isn't that great? What did they both create? Unemployment, no jobs. In Hoover's time, 20% by the end of his term. Unemployment is at 7% at the end of Bush's term, up from 4.5, and it's only gotten higher. Then 1932, they said, well, we're going to have to increase taxes because of those darn rich people. So taxes go from, you ready? Love this, 25% to 63%. Oh, that's going to work out. Why don't we do that now? Oh, we're going to. Right now, the Bush taxes are about to expire, which takes them from 35 to 39, but that's only the beginning. Then FDR gets in. Oh, and so does Obama. This is when it gets really good. FDR decides to make the union stronger. Sound familiar? Regulate price controls, interfere with business, pay higher wages than the amount of productivity justified. Obama, he's completely different. He says SEIU's life work is his work. Obama has fired the CEOs of companies, taking control of the automakers, of the banks, you name it, he's coming for you. FDR decided he was going to revive the economy with massive government spending, more spending. It's like stimulus and stimulus 2. He went with new entitlements with the New Deal. That's weird, because this is what Obama is doing. Reviving the economy with massive government spending and an expansion of entitlements. Stimulus 1, 2, 3. Are we up to 4 yet? Do I hear 5? We had cash for caulkers, cash for clunkers. We have health care, financial reform, takeover of the student loan industry. Oh, it's fantastic. So how do these stories end? Well, unemployment remained unresponsive. Weird. Weird. Through the New Deal and the New Deal 2. Obama, unemployment's gone up and then stayed there, flatlining. That's weird. FDR blamed Hoover for the economic problems. Obama blaming Bush for the mess that he has to mop up. In 1935, the Supreme Court struck down the NRA and the 1936 AAA, that's the Agricultural Adjustment Act, and others. Today, 60% of Americans want a repeal of health care. Will the courts follow through? So it was a nightmare. But it's the same thing. Crash, spend, no jobs, tax, unions, spend more, courts. Then the people gained sense. 1946, there was a successful GOP campaign. Had enough. That's all they asked. Had enough? Today, the Tea Parties are doing the same thing. They're issuing the universal plea, stop spending. Well, we've followed Hoover and FDR almost step by step. We're going to the bottom. Again, are we going to extend the slump just like FDR did? Understand there's a few critical differences between the 1930s and today. You could spend in the 1930s. It didn't work, but you could. You could spend and you might make a difference because the country had manufacturing. We could build ships, planes, tanks, refrigerators. We could build stuff. Now, no. We don't have those plants anymore. Number 2, our citizens didn't have crippling debt. And 3, in 1946, we had money as individuals to spend. Our grandparents saved their money. Maybe we could get somebody really smart, like Beat Stark, to explain the differences to us. Oh, I forgot it was really smart people like Beat Stark who got us into this mess. Oh. Back in a minute. I want to thank you for watching tonight. We were number 1 on Friday with our Founding Fridays, our Founding Father Fridays, or whatever. I can never get the name of it right. It's amazing how people paint this audience as stupid, uneducated, and yet you buy more books than anybody can possibly imagine. We set records. Every time we talk about a book on this program, it goes through the roof. Our Founding Fridays, every time we do one, higher ratings than the week before. And yet you don't know anything about history. It's amazing. Now we're talking about the economy and it's not turning around. Well, why would we be surprised that we're repeating the mistakes of the past? We're following the advice of progressives. This summer on this program, we are going to do the Summer of Restoration. We have to learn from history. Now, I have been reading, it's amazing because I have something called the, the Insider Extreme at glennbeck.com, and I added a new feature. It's Beck University. We call it that because it drives people crazy. It includes lectures, a series of lectures from just really bright minds. Right now, we're talking about faith, hope, and charity. We have David Barton. It's great stuff. Starts tomorrow. We have to protect our country's future by learning from the past. Go to glennbeck.com/extreme and find out more. The one thing we know is that borrowing money does not make you wealthier. It means you're more in debt.